Thank you so much for calling me, because I've got a guy that wants to trade in a Tesla, and it's an older one. From what I can tell, it looks really nice, but you know, we use AccuTrade, and we kind of we trust them implicitly, and you know, they're pretty. You know, they're just not aggressive on a lot of EVs because nobody really understands them. But I know that you're the guy.
Well, yeah, man. First of all, it's fun to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you reached out. So I'm pulling up the information you sent me.
Okay.
Just so I can take a quick look at it. Let's see. Sorry. I liked what you sent. I mean, it's. Tell me again. You're in. Where are you? I just went blank.
We're like Cleveland, Ohio area.
Oh, yeah. So probably need $700-800 to get here to Utah.
Yep.
Yes. Can you send me a separate text from AccuTrade that had the VIN and stuff, huh?
Yes, I did. Do you want me to?
I can read it off of this picture. That text is so far buried now.
Here, I can read it right now if you want.
Okay, yeah. Let's see here. Go for it.
All right, it is 5YJSA4H25FFP77240.
Yeah, P is in Paul.
P is in Paul.
Okay. It's got low miles, man.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
This guy forgot to drive it.
That is for 2015. What is that? It's like 5,000 miles a year or something.
Yeah, I mean it's almost nothing. So I mean, you know, where we are. I don't know what it's like out in Utah, but here in the Ohio area, or in Cleveland, or anywhere in Ohio, really, anybody that was kind of an early adopter to Tesla, a lot of those people, it wasn't necessarily like a primary driver, you know.
Yeah.
So. Again, I don't know the full story of this one, but I think it's been a Midwest car for most of its life. So anyway.
Yeah, no, you're good. So here is a challenge. So do you guys deal with the tax credit at all, the under $25,000 cars? They'd be doing that there?
We honestly, I wasn't really even familiar with it until I heard you talking about it.
Yeah. Well, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And you have to register with the IRS and everything. So, but there's a couple of things that allow the car to qualify, because you've got the individual things with their income and stuff. The car cannot have been transferred after August of 2022.
Okay.
And this car has been sold twice already since in 2023.
Got it.
It's got 2 owners. So that means that the $4,000 tax, because I was originally thinking, hey, this, when I pulled it up, I'm like, this could be a tax car, you know, where I could retail it at 25 and so make it $4,000 off. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And the reason that's unfortunate is I'm going to be competing against cars that have not been transferred yet that can do the $4,000 off.
Got it.
So that gives me a $4,000 disadvantage because I still have the price to compete, you know.
Right.
So I don't know if you're talking to the customer, I'll just tell you what I could pay. Yeah, dude, let me look. I might have to retail for 21, which is crazy.
Okay.
Because let me just confirm. I want to see what the market is telling me here. We actually have a website here, Doug, that's crazy. It's got 85% market share of used car sales.
Yeah.
And it's only in Utah. And so it's like its own e-auto. It's its own animal. And so.
Did you create it or?
Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. It's actually the NBC News affiliate here owns it, and they started as a classified things in like the early 2000s. And, Facebook, Marketplace, and Auto Trader, and all of those others combined are 15% of the market. So I basically have to go out to this website because e-auto doesn't grab their data. They won't share it.
Got it.
And so I have to do a second analysis here.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a little time consuming but it's a unique animal for sure. So okay, 20. Yeah, man. See, I mean, this one has 88,000 miles, but it's 17.9 after the tax credit. So, darn it, because this is a great car. I mean, it looks great. It's got free supercharging for life. It's the P85D with ludicrous modes, the fast one. Carfax is totally clean. I mean, it's a great car, but
yeah, that tax credit really kills it. That's a weird rule.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I mean, that's an interesting rule that I would understand if maybe the tax credit had already been used on it, but I wonder maybe that's too difficult for them to look into, so that is why they have the rule that if it's been transferred, they just won't do it.
Yeah, I mean, so the VIN actually, if you put the VIN in there, it will tell you that actually that's pretty easy for them to tell because they track it by VIN at the credit, but the reason is because the law didn't exist before then.
Yeah.
Or since then, and so it's really lame, to be honest. It doesn't make any sense to me. But we have to check every Carfax and look at every ownership transfer date, and if it's got the 2023 on it, we know we're screwed on a transfer date. Sometimes, if it has a 2022, then we have to try to figure out the month, which takes a little more digging. But yeah, I mean, the other thing is it's a high likelihood that, well, I'm going to look at it. I bet you the person that bought this already took the credit. So the car, even if it hasn't been transferred, I'm going to go in just for giggles.
Yeah.
And see.
Well, if he's already used the credit, then we can definitely remind him of that.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, hey man, you already got $4,000 at the point of sale off on this thing.
Yep.
And so, and when I've had this happen a few times. Maybe I even made a video you might have seen where I was talking to a customer live, and I'm like, oh crap. Same exact thing that I just experienced with you, and once I explained it to them, I said I can't compete unless I price it at $4,000, as if they're going to get the tax credit, because the customer doesn't care. They just want the price to be $21,000.
For sure. Yeah.
Our goal on front end is like $3,000.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, we rarely get more. Sometimes I'll take less. These are kind of high volume, low margin cars. We're not doing Benz's, dude.
Well, you'd be surprised. The margins in used cars tend to be pretty consistent no matter where you go. In fact, we find that the higher you go in the price of the car, the skinnier the margins usually end up getting. It's kind of crazy.
That is. That feels like the risk reward there is. EVs, that's not really the case. Like Rivians and Model X's and stuff like that, the margins are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know anything about, other than I like the Mercedes EQ vehicles. I think they're really cool.
Oh yeah, I'm hooked. I've been driving one for 2.5 years. Right this moment I'm not, because the one I was driving we sold about a week ago, and so now we're sold out of EQSs, which is what I would want. Just for the kids and my wife, so we can throw all of our stuff in there when we travel. But yeah, I've been 2.5 years. I mean, every time that we've sold out of them and I've had to drive a gas car again, I get annoyed, which is crazy.
It is, because I mean, the Mercedes gas cars are awesome. I had an AMG 2-seater convertible years ago, and the sound that engine made, dude, was so big. I mean, it just roared. You put the top down, and it was fun. Okay, so this is awesome. The IRS service is currently unavailable. It's down.
Oh, of course.
Of
course.
Yeah, nice job, IRS. So my thought would be, Doug, is to see if they'll tell you. Did you already take it? If you did, it's an easier message. If they did, and explain it to them, the deal. I think I'm gonna have to be like in the teens, man, because by the time I ship it and price it, I don't know if that kills your deal or not, but that's sad. I'm bummed because I wanted to pay up for the car, but I can't.
No, it's all good. I appreciate you explaining that to me. And AccuTrade's hitting it at like 17, so it sounds like probably either way that's where we're going to end up.
Yeah.
I think I'll have to get back with my sales guy. It sounds to me like this gentleman might have very unrealistic expectations on the value of this car. And I'm not sure. I think that he's, whenever somebody's got a car with unusually low miles for the year, they will a lot of times go online, find some listings of cars with miles that are similar, and sometimes you've got people that put stuff out there that they're just dreaming, right? Whether it's a private party or a dealer that's totally out of touch, and the list price is just crazy high compared to other make model of that year, and then they'll just fixate on that, right? And they can't get it out of their head. And it's like, well, that's a list price. That's not necessarily where they're transacting,
Bingo. Yep, man, you nailed it. And I'm also looking at, near me, there's one that's listed for 23, which would be 19 something after the tax credit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 160 days been sitting on their lot. There's another one at 24, which would be, essentially 19. That's 129 days on their lot. So if you're not priced aggressively, and the reason is these older ones, the thing to maybe explain to them, it's not about the miles, it's the fact that the battery's out of warranty, which is, as you know, it's year or miles, and this one's 8 years, and so you're out of battery warranty. And a lot of buyers, even though the data says they should be worried, that doesn't always win out. They're like, oh, battery's out of warranty, I don't want it. They don't care, because the miles are great, but the years cancel out the battery warranty.
Yeah,
so that's
a good point.
Concern too, that sometimes sellers don't realize.
Yeah, interestingly, I've been kind of after watching a lot of your videos, I'm realizing now that miles on a EV are kind of, I don't want to say they're meaningless, but they are significantly a lot less valuable than on a gas car.
Yeah, I get some hate on that. I've got to kind of figure out, Doug, I think an accurate ratio, because it really is, to be honest, just kind of a guess. But if people are logical and say, look, there's no moving parts, there's no fluids, there's virtually no service appointments unless something, cameras or touch screens or something like that needs to be adjusted. And so just sheer logic, it's going to last longer because it doesn't need as much work. There's not as many things that can break and go wrong.
Right.
And so that definitely makes it so. And Consumer Reports, which is funny, people in my comments think that somehow they're bought off by Tesla or something. I mean, they put Tesla as the number one most affordable car to own post sale, and
yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just cheap to own. So
yeah.
But they're not for everybody.
No, for sure. Well, it's been great chatting with you. Thank you for helping me out on this. I'm sure there will be more opportunities moving forward for us to talk about stuff like this. I mean, I'm hoping that one day I can get my used car team to be a little bit more optimistic about used EVs that we take in on trade, because I think that if you fully embrace them like you have, they're a great part of your retail business for used cars. But I think right now everybody is, except for you and a couple other people, you and George Saliba, they're just kind of terrified of them,
Yeah, and I'm terrified of them sometimes too.
Right.
I made my bed though, right? I can't deviate. In your market where you are, I don't know. I mean, it might be something where you still got to wait a little while before it makes sense.
Yeah.
To get into it, and that's not a bad thing. You just got to kind of wait, because the Midwest, the charging networks and some of the temperatures and things like that, whether it's true or not, I can understand why people are hesitant in a lot of these kind of middle America places. And so yeah, it'll come, especially as prices go down. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
And charging networks go up, you'll see more demand. But yeah, I mean, I think, you guys have anyone on your team? Or I tell most dealers is find some young person. I know it's kind of a stereotype, but have them be the EV expert. Have them drive different ones every day. Have them do the ones that value all the EV trades.
Yep.
Send them some training, and make sure their compensation is fair, because the volume's low, that they don't get punished for taking that on, and everybody else will like it because they can just hand them off and don't have to deal with them.
Yep.
And then that person will be an expert and probably increase your closing rate. But you got to find the right person and make a little bit of an investment in them.
Yeah, we've a couple people that are very well versed on them, and they tend to take the majority of the the majority of the leads. But we haven't really gone all in like that with one person. It might be worth exploring for sure. So
yeah, you know what you're doing, Doug. I learned a ton from your videos, man. I think it's cool that we're connected now, because I watch every one of your videos.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. So
okay, man. Well, let me know anything else I can do to help on this car, and sorry I wasn't more helpful.
That's okay. No, I'm glad I learned a lot from this conversation. So thank you, and I'll be in touch with you soon.
Hey, see you, bud.
All right, brother. Have a good weekend.